the wet Sachsenring. It is raining cats and dogs at the moment. This is not what we were hoping for, but it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. It's the sixth round of DTM. We only have 6 more races to go. Let me hold that umbrella because it's going to fly away, Jordan. And Jordan seems to be having fun. He's the man who's starting in pole position, 3rd in the championship. But Jordan, this is not what you were asking for, right?
No, not exactly. I mean, we had a great quali this morning. I'm super happy with that, obviously. But yeah, you know, when things are looking good, obviously Mother Nature sometimes has some other opinions. But the last time we were in the rain in Zandvoort, I was quick leading the race. So hopefully we can use that good fortune to today and convert this pole into a win.
But Jordan, let us get a feeling for this. I mean, the Sachsenring is pretty tricky with tires and grip anyway. And now that it's soaking wet, what can you expect out there?
No clue. Never been here in the rain, so let's see. My first lap in the rain will be in the race. It is what it is. I mean, it's the same for everyone. A lot of guys have experience from the past, but yeah, let's see. It's a lot of undulations. I expect a lot of rivers, especially with this level of rain. But also what I saw earlier, it dries quite quickly. So maybe it could be a rain, mixed conditions, mixed tire choices, or I don't know when the rain's going to stop. Maybe we go wet till the end.
Oh dear, let's hope it stops soon. Best of luck for the race, Jordan. And here are the commentators.
Thanks very much, Verena. Stay dry. It's absolutely throwing it down. Nobody saw this coming. There was a chance, we heard, of a few showers before the start of the race. This is not a shower. This is fairly heavy. I know it's going to last long, but it's certainly made it a very wet start to the race now. So let's just consider this. As Jordan Pepper said there, and he's not the only one, you've now got to go into a race, drive a car at 260 kilometres an hour, it's 165 miles an hour, with some of the best GT3 drivers in the world around a high-speed, volatile racetrack. And you've never done it before in the wet, but go race, boys. That's what they're saying. So this is going to be tricky. We are going to have 2 formation laps for the drivers because of the change of conditions. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race. The form book has completely gone out of the window for the start of this 6th weekend of the season. Let's go back down to the very soggy grid and Verena.
Well, hello there. Yes, it's still raining a little bit, and I found Jules Gounon here, all tucked in underneath the umbrella. And how happy are you with the weather? I guess you're not. I mean, starting in P2, it could have been a nice race in the dry. Now, unfortunately, it's a bit wet.
Yeah, well, summer in Germany is a different kind of concept, I have to say. But we didn't expect that. Now, so, you know, we were like, are we staying on slicks? We stayed on slicks on the way in. And now we arrived, and like you, we are wet, super wet. It's really raining a lot. When I look at T1, look at the amount of water on the right side. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I guess maybe a start on the safety car, I don't know. But it's a lot of water now. So nobody drove on the rain. I never drove on the rain in this track, so we will see.
Yeah, Jordan said the same thing, so we will see. You guys were kind of predicting the outcome for the qualifying when you were chatting on Instagram. Did you predict this?
No, we didn't talk about it. But I know that some cars took some bets on the setup to go for wet setup. We are on dry setup, so let's see. We try our best, and when you do your best, you cannot be disappointed. So we give everything.
I'm sure you will. Thank you so much, Jules. Hold on to the umbrella because it's windy as well. So now we're going to try to see if we get Luigi Auer, because I can see he is still in an interview, but I'm going to try my best to maybe grab him out of there without risking me interrupting them. Let's see if they can finish up, because obviously Luigi Auer is the championship leader. And yeah, it looks like they're finishing up, so let me find out. He is 12 points ahead of Jack Aitken, so that's looking good for him. But as we know, I mean, DTM, it changes all the time, and it's so tight. There are only 6 more races to go at the moment. And yeah, you need to be, you know, really alert and trying to catch every single point there is. And yeah, he's still talking. So why don't I just hand over to the commentators, and hopefully I can grab him in just a minute.
It's all right, Verena. You can enjoy the sunshine while you're waiting for him to finish the interview. So, yeah, Lucas Auer is going to start the race 5th on the grid. Right alongside him is going to be his nearest rival in the championship, Jack Aitken, the British driver, one of the race winners last time out at the Nürburgring, who will start 6th on the grid. And the driver that's 3rd in the championship is the driver that you've already heard from, starting on pole position, Jordan Pepper. There's Ben Green having his best qualifying so far in DTM. He starts 3rd. Right back down to Verena.
So now I've got him. I've got Luki Auer here. And Luki, it's quite interesting. I mean, it's the same for everybody. It's going to be a wet race. Starting from your position, how tough do you think will it be?
I think very tough. We have a lot of rain now, so it should be at the beginning at least some aquaplaning, and will be an interesting race.
It'll be an interesting race, and you're the championship leader. I mean, at this point, only 6 more races to go. Every race at this point is crucial when it comes to the title, obviously.
Yeah. It's, anyway, the whole season is very tough. A lot of title contenders, and but now it's difficult to judge. Let's see how the base is, and maybe we will have a dry race at the end, so who knows? It will be a very strategic race and should be interesting for you.
Should be interesting. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here are the commentators.
Thanks very much, Verena. Great to hear from Lucas Auer, always smiling. A big grin on his face when he said, yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, this race. It certainly is. It is normally very hot when you come to the Sachsenring, particularly at this time of year. And even the likes of Jules Gounon, who's won here in the past in the Corvette, in GT Masters, raced here many times, hasn't, as he said, raced around here in the wet. The same for Jordan Pepper. Spoke to Gilles Magnussen, the Aston Martin, earlier. He's never raced here before at all until this weekend. So it's going to be a real voyage into the unknown. There's René Rast's car, race winner last time out in race 2 at the Nürburgring to move himself up to 4th place in the championship standings. However, he has a car which is not best suited to this place in dry conditions. He always said it was going to be tough around here, and the BMWs have been struggling a bit. But the rain might not help them, because René says we're always struggling in the wet with this car as well. So the start is going to be delayed, we're hearing, because of this amount of rain that's coming through. That's confirmation coming through on your screen now. So we have a start delayed. When we get underway, it'll be a 55-minute plus 1 lap race. To get underway, what's going to be round 11 of the championship. 6 races to go. Lucas Auer, 137 points, only 8 points clear of Jack Aitken. As I said, they're together on the grid on the 3rd row. Jordan Pepper on pole position picked up 3 points this morning in very different conditions in the dry. He smashed the lap record as well, got the lap record by nearly 0.3 of a second, beating Thomas Preining's best time from 2024. And Jordan now on 125 points, only 12 back on the championship leader, Lucas Auer. Let's go back down to Verena.
And I'm here with Max Powell, starting in P21. It's your home race. So, I mean, in regards to your position, since you're not too much in the front, maybe it's good for you that it's raining, because maybe strategy can play a good role for you?
Obviously, we are happy that it's raining. I mean, when it's raining, there's always a gamble, you know. And as it looks, it's going to dry up later as well. So I'm ready to go. I don't know why they want to delay the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little bit delayed. But since it's your home race, what does it feel like for you here, being here at the Sachsenring with all the support and everything?
Yeah, great. There's a lot of people supporting me, a lot of locals, obviously, local sponsors. So it's a very nice event. Unfortunately, we are starting P20, so it's not the greatest starting position, but as it looks like, the race is going to be exciting. So we're looking forward to have a nice show.
And last question in regards to the Sachsenring. What do you like about the Sachsenring, and what, apart from the fact that it's wet and raining, but what is the biggest challenge perhaps here?
Yeah, obviously to have a good balanced aero car, because it's a lot of high-speed corners here, and you really have to nail it in 1 lap in quali. So it's a bit tricky, but it's also nice, because you obviously have to, or you can make a difference. So we're working on it and see how we can end up in the race.
All right, well, you seem very relaxed, so have a fantastic race. And thank you, Max, and back to you. And now let's go racing in a bit.
Thanks very much, Verena. Yeah, Max Powell will see this as an opportunity. So will some of the other guys down the back of the grid. Max winning in the DTM in wet conditions at the Nürburgring 2 years ago, and getting a podium in changeable conditions this year with Powell Motorsport. The Ferrari driver Jack Aitken there, 2nd in the championship. There, the championship leader that he's trying to chase down. Jack was pretty happy after a few issues yesterday in free practice to be in the top 6 in qualifying. All Ferraris, all 3 of them in the top 8. There's Luca Enxler, who's had a good qualifying session as well. Not his best of the year. He's had a couple of 3rds on the grid, but 4th on the grid for Luca. And then 3rd on the grid, Ben Green, with his best so far. 2nd on the grid with a new car for this weekend. He's got a new chassis for this weekend. I have it on good authority. He starts 2nd on the grid, and he's very happy with the way things have been going in the dry, at least. Jordan Pepper, likewise, as I say, getting that lap record this morning. His 3rd pole position of the season. And Jordan is now the driver that scored the most championship points from those qualifying sessions. Welcome everybody then to a wet Sachsenring. We've had a pretty heavy shower of rain for about 10 or 15 minutes before the start of the race. So it's been declared a wet race. The start has been delayed and we are going to have 2 formation laps when we do get the race underway. Up until this point, it's been a completely dry weekend so far, if a little cooler than normal. As you see, the air temperature only 13 degrees. Let's take a look at this Sachsenring circuit then. First thing to note, it's an anti-clockwise track. It's 3.6 kilometres long. DTM first came here in 2000, but when he came back here in 2023 after a 20-year break. And so there's only been 4 modern GT3 DTM races here. And there was a spectacular incident last year. René Rast clipping Jordan Pepper as they fought for the same corner. Pepper sent into the BMW of Rast's teammate Marco Wittmann, who was not best pleased with Jordan Pepper at the time. He later then realised what had happened, and Jordan Pepper wasn't too best pleased with René Rast, as you saw from his hand gestures. At the end of it all, it was a Mercedes victory for Luca Stolz, and we've had 2 Mercedes victories here from the last 4 races in the DTM. 1 Ferrari victory, that came last year for Jack Aitken, and Mirko Bortolotti, a winner for Lamborghini here 2 years ago as well. Here's Thomas Preining on Team Radio.
Is there any rain or water? Oh. Copy. Might be the water.
Yeah, copy.
So drivers, engineers bouncing back against one another, trying to find out exactly what the conditions are like and whether the rain is continuing. I think it's eased up. So start delayed. We'll let you know as soon as we're going to get back underway with the start procedure. Then, as I say, it will be 2 formation laps because nobody's been round in the wet. Most of them haven't ever driven around here in the wet conditions. Thomas Preining, who had struggles with straight line speed last time out at the Nürburgring, looked good on Friday, but he got blocked in qualifying. And Maro Engel, as a result of that, was given a 3-place grid penalty. So starts 10th rather than 7th. And also starting with the grid penalty in this race is Mirko Bortolotti. Things had looked much more positive for Abt after a good test here on Sunday, where both of them were in the top 10. Top 5s in both free practice sessions for Mirko Bortolotti. And he said to me yesterday, we think we've found an issue with the car that we've had all season. It feels better. But unfortunately, it didn't go quite according to plan during the qualifying session this morning. And then Mirko, on top of only qualifying 17th with a 5-place grid penalty. So the reigning champion is going to be back 22nd on the grid. So here we are with a very intriguing setup to the race. It's going to be a bit of a lottery. Some will see it as a massive challenge, a massive threat to their grid positions. And others will see it as a real opportunity, as we heard from the likes of Max Powell. Here at the commentary box overlooking the start-finish line, we can see there's still plenty of team personnel on the grid, so we're not getting underway just yet. My name's Chris Hartley, and alongside me in the commentary box, it's good afternoon to Brian Oliver.
Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, this is exciting, isn't it? Not quite what we were expecting. It's always hot and sunny whenever we come to the Sachsenring. Well, now it's wet. And as you already said, a lot of these drivers have never even turned a wheel around this circuit in the damp conditions. It's tricky into turn 1 anyway. That right-hander, slight downhill, always a challenge getting the field around those first couple of corners in the race. In these slippery conditions as well, it's going to be challenging. At the moment, it looks to me like the rain has eased off. I see a lot of people in the stands. Well, quite a few have put their umbrellas down. There are some there that haven't. Certainly, it's a lot lighter than it was. So we are potentially facing a drying track as this race progresses. But at the moment, we're still waiting for news. Right, 13:40 local time for the start of the formation lap. So that is 11 minutes' time. We'll be getting this race underway.
So Jordan Pepper on pole position, Brian. This is the track where he made his debut last year as a guest driver for Grass. We saw in the track facts he, in race 2 on Sunday, got involved in that big incident with the 2 BMWs. Before that, though, on Saturday, he'd made a mark for himself already by finishing 10th and scoring points on his debut. He comes back here now in the throes of his first full season in the championship, and he is a real title contender. 3rd pole position of the year now for him. He scored 12 points alone in qualifying, which is the equivalent to more than a 5th place finish.
Yeah, I mean, what a season he's having. According to that video that we saw earlier, I think he planned on finishing 1st, but that was the hand signals anyway.
Absolutely. Right, Vereena's down on the grid with more news.
Yeah, so we've got a few more minutes, so let me interview Timo Glock. We can't really see you because we're hiding down here. But Timo, what is it like? I mean, at first the rain, I don't know if you guys were expecting it, and now obviously the delay. I mean, obviously you're such an expert, you've been driving for ages, so you know this kind of feeling, but what goes around in your head at that point?
I mean, it's going to be a challenge for everyone because we didn't do a lap in wet conditions so far here. So the testing was in dry last week on Sunday. The whole weekend was dry so far. But it's funny, you could see like an hour ago I was like saying, you will see it's going to rain at the start of the race. Now we have it, but I think it's going to be a good fun. Challenge for everyone. And yeah, we just need to stay out of trouble.
Absolutely. All right, Timo, thank you so much. Best of luck for the race. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Yeah, Timo Glock starting to get some groove and some rhythm now with that McLaren. He's not as high up in the grid as he would like to be, 14th, but he was on course for a really good lap in qualifying. He had an absolute best sector at 1 and then a personal best sector 2, but he just, I'm told by the team, just made a slight error in the final sector, which cost him enough time to put him out of the top 10. I mean, he's only 0.6 of a second away from pole position, but he's 14th. That's how brutal it is in qualifying in the dry conditions in the DTM. But Timo made his DTM debut 12 years ago now, finished 5th in the 2020 championship and has 158 race starts. He'll look to use that experience in the race. Back down to the grid, and Verena.
And I'm here with Maro Engel. And Maro, it's nice and warm in your car. I don't know if it's too warm, but obviously outside here it's cool. We got a bit of a delay, so what are you expecting for the race? Obviously it's time to dry up now a little bit. So hoping for better conditions than when you guys get started?
Yeah, it looks like the rain's evacuating pretty quickly, so hopefully we can get going soon and put on a good show for the spectators.
Timo was saying, and quite a few of the drivers were saying, they don't know the Sachsenring wet. Is it the same for you?
Yeah, I don't remember having driven here in the wet, so I think it's for most of us it's going to be discovering the track in the wet, and should be a good challenge.
And also, I mean, it is difficult in regards to the tires and the grip and everything, so I guess when it's wet, it's going to make it even more tough.
Yeah, for sure. For us, though, starting from P10, we were hoping for some mixed conditions, and yeah, let's see if what we can make of it and try to make the most of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maro. Best of luck, and back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Yes, and Maro Engel, with all of his experience, another driver that can't ever remember going around here in wet conditions. We just had another little shower, even though it's brightening up, so it's keeping it wet out there. We've seen they're trying to dry the circuit. One important thing that the teams have to do here is keep the soles of the race boots dry as possible for the drivers. Any slip of the foot on the accelerator, or more importantly, the brake, could be very costly indeed. So that's one thing they have to do. They also have to make sure there's plenty of ventilation in there to keep the doors open so that the windows don't steam up as well. There's Ian Jungun, who's qualified 10th, but he's up to 9th on the grid now because of Maro Engel's 3-place grid penalty, and he's got Thomas Preining for company. Good drive through to finishing the top 5 on Sunday at the Nürburgring. 2-time race winner this year, Ian Jungun in the bright green Porsche. The Grello Porsche, the yellow-green Porsche of Thomas Preining. Lots of fans here during the course of the weekend, as normal. And Brian, I went down behind the garages between qualifying and the race, and I saw a fan, I assume she was a fan, a lady fan who was with absolutely lime green yellow hair. She dyed it especially as a Thomas Preining fan. She was waiting to try and get his autograph.
Oh, I
commitment.
Might try that myself sometime. That sounds like a great fashion statement. That part of the track is called the waterfall. Well, you can see the waterfall is going in the other direction there. That's how much water there is. That camera, I ran around the track last night. That camera is just on the entrance to turn 12. If that's still there by the end of this evening, I will eat my hat. Those are the 2 tyres that are in use this weekend. The one on the right-hand side are potentially what they're all going to be starting on in this race. He's going to be exciting, though, isn't it? But yes, everybody has got the wet weather tyres on at the moment, but it's going to be interesting because we've got a pit stop window that will open shortly after this race starts. So the question will be is what state the track will be in. It's going to be a strategic call if the rain does completely stop. We're going to see maybe drivers staying out, trying to find that optimum time to go from the wets to the slicks. This is where races are won or lost. I should think stress up to the max for the strategists in the team, because they've got to make the call a lot of the time when to bring the driver in. That optimum time. Leave it a lap too late, you can lose a whole load of places.
It's the same for everyone, of course, but the interesting knock-on for this is that there's no restriction on how many sets of wet tyres you can have on a race weekend, but you are restricted in terms of the number of slick tyres you can have. it's either 3 or 4 sets of slicks for Saturday and Sunday, depending on the track. And here it's 4 sets because it's an abrasive circuit. It's hard on the tyres. If you qualified in the top 10 and it's a dry race, you have to start on the tyres in which you qualified, but they're going to keep those tyres fresh now. More about that in a minute, but here's the grid in reverse. Nicola Bart and Arjun Maini are on the final row of the grid. On row 11, Mirko Bortolossi with a 5-place grid penalty. Tom Callender in his first season of DTM. Max Powell might be one to watch from 20th. Ricardo Feller starts 19th. Maurice Skewing 18th. Ben Durr, who's been an excellent qualifier and pole this year, back in 17th. Fabio Scherer 16th. Rene Rast back in 15th place. 4th in the championship. Timo Glock and Nicky Tim share row 7. On row 6, it's Marco Wittmann and Gilles Magnus, who qualified in the top 3 last time out. Maro Engel with the 3-place grid penalties alongside Engin Guhen. Thomas Preining 8th. Thierry Vermeulen 7th. Jack Aitken 2nd in the championship, starts 6th, alongside the championship leader, Lucas Auer, who is 5th. Luca Engstler and Ben Green on the 2nd row of the grid. Ben with his best qualifying so far. Jules Guenon starts 2nd with a new chassis, and Jordan Pepper is on pole position for the 3rd time. So just going back to that point about the tyres, Brian, tomorrow, if it's dry, everybody's going to have plenty of new slick tyres to use, aren't they?
Well, if there was ever a circuit you wanted to have plenty of new slick tyres, it would be at the Sachsenring, because this circuit demolishes tyres. It's the hardest wearing circuit of the year. We've seen over the years in all sorts of classes so many races won or lost on tyre strategy, tyre preservation, so much so that the GT4 race that comes later on today, they've actually shortened the race because they're that concerned about tyre degradation. So that is good news as far as that's concerned. It does mean that when the track does dry out, if it dries out, those wet tyres are probably going to fall apart quite quickly.
Yes, exactly right. And that's why drivers are always struggling to get 2 quick laps in qualifying. Normally you get 2, sometimes 3. But here it's so abrasive. There are so many high-speed corners that you were lucky to get 1 flying lap out of qualifying. And if you didn't get that right, or you got blocked, or you made a mistake, you weren't where you wanted to be on the grid. Luca Engstler, 2 times a race winner in the DTM. Can he come through? The multiple TCR touring car champion. Ben Green, a former DTM trophy champion, a GT4 champion, coming up in the UK through the Ginetta ranks, Ginetta Juniors, then a runner-up in the Ginetta Super Cup, his first foray into GT4 machinery. He's made it up now, having had some experience of winning races in GT3s and GT Masters to the DTM, and he starts 3rd on the grid as the best of the Ferraris. Jules Guenon, not happy with the car all the time during the course of the first half of the season, but now with a different car for this weekend, and looking good with 2nd on the grid. In fact, he got a little bit held up in his fast lap as well. So what's to come from him? What's to come from Jordan Pepper? The answer is we don't know, Brian, because nobody knows what these drivers or these cars are capable of in wet conditions. And the other factor is, although it's still raining looking out the commentary box window, it is brighter. It's unlikely to be the same track conditions in 55 minutes' time as we've got now, so it's going to keep changing.
Yes, so they're going to have to be really on their toes here, aren't they? Front row, Jordan Pepper, Jules Guenon, they're very good friends. They talked about that this morning, how they talked about and joked about earlier they could lock out the front row. Are they still going to be good friends in 55 minutes' time?
Yeah, as Jules actually said to Verena, it's quite hard to race against people you like because you've got to be ruthless out there. But you know, he's been teammate. They've been teammates with each other in the past as well, Jordan and Jules. So very interesting. But Jules Guenon looking for his first win in the DTM. Now he's been on pole already this year. He's on the front row of the grid for the 2nd time. He had a really good start to the season, didn't he, Brian? With top 5 finishes in each of the 4 races. The first 4 races this season, where he finished 5th, 2nd, 4th, and 3rd. But it sort of went a little bit awry at Zandvoort on the Norris Ring. He's had some bad luck as well. He certainly had bad luck at the Nürburgring, where he suffered collision with Thierry Vermeulen after Thierry had made contact with Maro Engel. Damage to the car, and then a wheel gun failure in the pit stop on the Sunday. So, yeah, tricky stuff it's been for him, but he's looking back on form here. It could be dangerous, because, as I said to him yesterday, you got nothing to lose, Jules. And Jules smiled and said, no, I haven't. And 40-odd points is not an unassailable bridge to try and gap in the championship, is it?
No, that was the very point I was going to make. He's joined 8th in the championship now, and still very much in contention. I tell you who we should keep an eye on in this race as well. Luca Engstler starting in 4th place. He's just been a little bit under the radar so far. I think he might be relishing these conditions as well.
Yeah, he's looking very relaxed. So our bodybuilding champion held aloft the Start Your Engines board, still in his T-shirt. Good stuff. Not worried about an umbrella.
This is race control.
And here we go with the countdown.
Leading car. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leading car go.
Sven Stopper gets the first of the formation laps underway. Now, for what it's worth, we have had some balance of performance changes between qualifying and the race. The balance of performance, just to explain to anybody new to all of this in GT3, these are all different cars. Oh, hang on, team radios, you're good on.
So 2 formation laps and normal start.
Jules' engineer just confirming, and worth doing that as well, just to remind his driver you've got 2 formation laps and the start procedure. Yeah, the balance of performance, because these cars have all got different size engines, different amounts of horsepower, they're different weights. Some are turbos, some are normally aspirated, so the balance of performance is to try and equalise things as much as possible. You can do that by adding extra weight to the cars, changing the amount of air that comes in through air restrictors, less or more. You can tweak the amount of boost that you get if you're one of the turbo-powered cars like the BMWs or the Ferraris, for example. And there's been quite a few changes between qualifying and this. So the Aston Martins are 10 kilograms lighter than they were in qualifying. The Audis are 15 kilograms lighter. The Audi is 15 kilograms lighter. McLaren 10 kilograms lighter. The Porsche 20 kilograms lighter than in qualifying. 10 kilograms heavier, the Mercedes, 20 kilograms heavier, the Lamborghinis, including Jordan Pepper. And there's been some extra boost given to the BMWs as well. So those have been the changes, but it's a very different track now. You can see there, right at the bottom of that, around that waterfall, there's quite a bit of standing water still.
Yeah, that's the fastest part of the track as well. Heavy braking into turn 12. So that's going to be quite exciting. They come down the waterfall, which has appropriately accumulated all the water at the bottom. Then you've got that heavy braking into turn 12, and then back on the power again, up the steep climb to 13. But that's going to be fun the first time they come round there at racing speed. So across the line they come again. Now the clock starts. So with the 2 formation laps, the clock starts on the 2nd formation lap. So still no overtaking clearly. Safety car out on track. And next time around, in theory, we should be at racing speed. But look how murky it is out there. Not only track conditions that are slippery, but also visibility. When you're back in the pack, the spray in the air, really challenging conditions. This is testing the drivers.
Yeah, it's obviously at a much lower speed. They're going to go in the race once we get underway, but it is at least a chance to see where that standing water is, where the lines might be different. A reminder that all the tyres are used from rubber that is produced naturally from sustainably manageable forests, and we also have fully synthetic fuel in the DTM this year to try and be as environmentally friendly as possible, which are 2 innovations for the season. And yeah, as a driver in the dry conditions, you know what the racing line is. In the wet, you might take different racing lines, because another thing that happens, Brian, is you get all this rubber that's laid down from the Pirelli tyres, the dry tyres, and all the other tyres that are being used in various championships on the racing line. When that gets wet, that gets really slippery. So sometimes you want to be off the racing line. There's a bit more grip, maybe a wider line into a corner. And also then, if standing water gathers, it tends to gather on the inside of a corner. So again, you might want to go, even though it's a longer route, around the outside sometimes.
Yeah, I think many of the drivers just on these 2 formation laps were exploring some different lines to find out where that grip is, because it all changes. And remember, they haven't run this circuit in the wet before.
That's right. So we are going to get effectively up to speed very shortly. Jordan Pepper on pole position, Jules Gounon alongside. Lamborghini versus Mercedes. The Ferrari of Ben Green, the Lamborghini of Luca Exler on row 2. Lucas Auer, the championship leader in the Mercedes, starting on the inside of row 3, 5th, and his nearest rival in the points, Jack Aitken, in the Ferrari, right alongside him in the dark blue Emil Frey Racing Ferrari. All of the top 6 in the championship carrying onboard cameras for our coverage this weekend. And the crowd in anticipation now, ready for what's going to be round 11 of DTM 2025. 6 races to go, including the one we are about to start. The Sachsenring is about to roar into life. It's going to be a venture into the unknown for these drivers, for the teams. How will the track change? Who is going to come out on top? We're about to find out. The rolling start is about to get underway, and we'll go here at Sachsenring, and it's a good start for Jordan Pepper. He's just ahead of Jules Gounon. He's the only one that hasn't got a face full of spray. Now the Ferrari Ben Green comes out, has contact with Jack Aitken and Luca Enxler just behind. Jack couldn't get the car slowed down in time. Ben Green, meanwhile, the Ferrari nips ahead of the Mercedes of Jules Gounon for now, but he runs wide as they spiral their way downhill, down towards the Castrol Omega turn, but he has got second place in the Ferrari, so Green up to second, that can be second podium in as many weekends. On board with René Rast as he tries to fire his way through from 2/3 of the way down the field. It is the pole sitter, Jordan Pepper in first, Ben Green in second, Jules Gounon is third, and then it is Luca Enxler, and then it's side by side between the top two of the championship, and Luca Sauer and the pink and red Mercedes. The Landgraf driver still just alongside, maybe slightly ahead of Jack Aitken. They're still absolutely side by side. But we got a penalty lap for a full start coming from Maro Engel, who already had a grid penalty, so he was judged to have been out of position. So things going from bad to worse for one of our key championship contenders. But what a start for Jordan Pepper, the perfect start, way out wide. Coming out of turn 11 for the first time is Luca Enxler in fourth place. And then in between them, the Ferrari of Ben Green and Jules Gounon in the Mercedes. What about that battle, that squabble? Well, Luca Sauer came out on top. He got ahead of Jack Aitken eventually, so he's up to fifth place. Jack Aitken down to sixth. On board with Thomas Pryny, looking back at the fearsome BMW of Marco Wittmann, who's trying to find his way through. But Marco will have a face full of spray and very poor visibility. There's a lot of spray out there for the drivers. Nose to tail for second and third as they come into turn one at the start of lap 2. Jordan Pepper, though, with a 1.3 second advantage. Green is second, Gounon third. Enxler, Aaron Aitken round out the top 6.
That was a ballsy start from Jack Aitken, wasn't it? There's Maro Engel passing through the penalty box. I could see Jules Gounon clearly grumpy about Ben Green getting past him in the early stages, so he's looking to claim that back. There's Thomas Pryny on the inside of Marco Wittmann as they head around the Castrol Omega turn up the hill again. There's Jules Gounon challenging Ben Green for that second place.
Yeah, so really good driving from those at the front. There was that bit of contact between Aitken and Auer as Aitken just couldn't get the car slowed down. Nobody's got any idea where to brake, have they? They've never done this before. So just guessing, just using a feel for it. But everybody survived the first lap. It was really excellent driving from them all. Luca Sauer has importantly got himself a place ahead of Jack Aitken, so he's now again outscoring his nearest championship rival. But he's not outscoring his next nearest championship rival, because third in the championship leads the race on course for 25 points, albeit a very, very long way to go in the race. Side by side for second place as Jules Gounon got fully alongside the Ferrari of Ben Green coming down the hill into that braking zone for the penultimate corner at turn 12. Couldn't find a way through, sits back behind him. This steep incline now as you come out of the second gear, turn 13, trying to scramble for traction up the hill. And then downhill and uphill again as the circuit rolls up and down towards turn 1 on the slowest corners on the lap, back down to second gear in about 75 kilometres an hour. To me, Brian, it looks like Jules Gounon in third place. He's a bit quicker than the Ferrari of Ben Green at points, but just can't find a way past.
That's confirmed by the fact that he has the fastest lap now. Jules Gounon at 1:29.947, so he is the fastest man on the track. It looks like he's able to position that Mercedes pretty well where he wants on the circuit. But you can see the rooster tails of spray that are rising up behind the cars. Now he closes in on second place at Ben Green. Down towards turn 7, you can see Gounon fighting the car, the back end just sliding at every possible opportunity. Up towards 7, 8 and 9, and it'll be down to the waterfall once again where he'll try and line him up for another move. There's a challenge further back on one of the Aston Martins as well.
Yeah, look at Bortolotti. Didn't make up any ground on the first lap of the race, trying to come through from 22nd on the grid after a promising test on Sunday, a promising day yesterday for Mirko, but way down the grid after qualifying about 0.7 of a second off the pace in the dry. Pepper, Green, Gounon the top 3, Enxler 4th, Auer 5th, Aitken 6th, Thierry Vermeulen, who nearly won the race here last year, but for an error by the team in the pit stop, which gave him a penalty. Finished 3rd here last year from pole position, but would have been a worthy winner. He's 7th, 8th, Marco Wittmann. Now, the BMWs, René Rast always says, are a real handful in the wet, but both of them have made up ground. René started 15th, he's up to 12th, he's gained 3 places, and Marco Wittmann started the race 12th and has gained 4 places, up into the top 8. Jules Gounon, though, absolutely all over the back of Ben Green. The trouble is, Brian, he can't see where he's going because he's basically got a face full of spray until he ducks out of the line of the Ferrari.
You can almost sense the frustration as he just shows his nose on the inside around turn 3, but he can't make it stick. But now he has the gap. The two cars are running side by side, but Ben Green has the momentum around the wide outside. Can Jules Gounon make it stick?
Oh.
Look at the cars sliding around the corner. Now Gounon with a nose in front. He's up into second place. Meanwhile, quickest man on the track is Jack Aitken as Ben Green tries to fight back on the outside, but Jules Gounon up into second place. Now, what can he do about Jordan Pepper?
Well, Ben Green really made him work for that, didn't he? He bravely held on for 3 corners around the outside. He put the Ferrari on the very wet, slippery, painted curbs as well, and somehow held on to it. He really fought hard, but he has dropped back down to third behind the Mercedes driver now, where he started the race. Get a replay of the start. Yeah, Maro Engel in the blue and gold Mercedes got out of his lane, basically. That's why he was given the penalty, not for being ahead of where he should, but just for not being in the line. That was the contact between the top two in the between one of the top two in the championship, Jack Aitken, ahead of Lucas Auer, and then almost into the side. In fact, he was into the side of Engstler. Engstler fended him off on the run down through turn 4, and then Auer was able to get through. Behind it all was Maro Engel, and that's the sort of visibility you're looking at when you're driving these cars at over 200 kilometres an hour into some of these corners. Jack Aitken then, this was him looking for the gap, couldn't get it slowed down yet, just into the side of Engstler, almost into the back of the other Ferrari of Ben Green as well. There's Pavel from Emil Fry Racing, who gets very, very into the racing gear, who lives and breathes it. He's been working for the team for 12 years. He gets very excited when they win. He's a bit on tenterhooks at the moment. That was Gilles Magnus getting the Rennie Rash treatment. Timo Glock next up on replay, the big BMW drawing alongside Timo's McLaren and eventually getting through. Let's hear some team radio from the leader.
And use 1.5, it's Gounon. And we have 11 minutes to the pit window opens.
And full focus, full concentration from Jordan Pepper. Now driving these cars on a knife edge, but that track is going to start eventually to dry out because the rain has gone away, it's getting brighter, and they're going to have to adapt their driving style, their braking points, how quickly they get on the throttle. Everything's going to have to change as we see this battle now between two champions. A 2-time DTM champion ahead of you is Marco Wittmann in the Schubert BMW. Torsten Schubert, who guided the team to their team's championship title last year, celebrating his birthday today. And right behind him, Thomas Preining, who needs to really try and get up the order to get himself right back in the championship fight. He's 5th place in the standings after only finishing 9th and 10th in the 2 races last time out at the Nürburgring. Tommy Preining is all over the BMW at the moment. The BMW on the curbs, you can see there, Brian, coming out through turns 2 and 3. As soon as you go on those painted curbs, it's very sketchy, isn't it?
Yeah, and Thomas Preining certainly looking the quicker of the two. The only problem for him is he's got a very large Viking filling his rearview mirrors in the shape of Nicky Tim. So if he tries to make a challenge around the outside of Marco Wittmann and he does start sliding, he's just going to lose a position. So Wittmann in that 8th place at the moment. Preining looking quicker, but Nicky Tim ready to pounce if any opening comes in front of him.
Couple of changes further down the order on the last lap. Maro Engel, despite serving that visit to the penalty box, losing 5 seconds. He's in the points and he's up to 14th. He got ahead of Fabio Scherer on the last lap. So Fabio 15th on course for a point. 16th is Maurice Skuring. He got ahead of Timo Glock, and into the gravel trap, I'm afraid, goes Gilles Magnus. Never driven around here before until the test day on Sunday, and certainly never driven around here in the wet. He said this is a circuit like Oschersleben that just doesn't suit our car. He said with the Aston Martin, if you lose the aero, it very, very quickly snaps away from you. So Gilles, who had a good qualifying just outside the top 10, succumbing to the gravel trap there, but keeping the car crucially out of the barriers. He'll get back on. He's lost positions, but the car should be okay.
Not within 5 degrees, like, I don't know.
Copy.
Finally. You went off 5.
Yeah, copy that, let's go.
All right, Mirko Bortolotti stuck in traffic at the moment in the number 1 Abt Lamborghini. There's Jack Aitken getting too close for company. And the rear-facing camera coming from that man in the Mercedes, Lucas Auer, his nearest championship rival. Spoke to Jack before the race. He said this could be pretty interesting because we've got all of the front runners from the championship are all up there. Yeah, going to be a real battle this. He was pretty happy, as I said, to be in the top 6. Did he make contact with the back of the Mercedes? Well, maybe not quite, but it was pretty close, wasn't it?
This is what it looked like on board. I've been looking at the fastest laps while this has been going on. Initially, it was Jack Aitken who had the fastest lap. Then it was Jordan Pepper at the front. Now it's Jules Gounon who now has the fastest lap. So up close and personal, I think we'll call that. But Jack Aitken in 6th place at the moment, putting the pressure onto Lucas Auer, you could probably say. Just behind him is his teammate Thierry Vermeulen.
Yeah, and the last lap, the fastest lap of the race for Jules Gounon was 0.3 of a second quicker than Jordan Pepper, so that gap was just over a second. It's now 0.7 seconds, because on that lap, a 1:29.2 for the leader, a 1:28.9 for Gounon. The Mercedes is coming. Jules Gounon looking for his first DTM victory. The French driver, the driver that lives in Andorra, closing in on the South African, who's already been a race winner. Jordan Pepper becoming the 100th different driver to win a DTM race when he took victory at the Norris Ring. So that's the battle to keep an eye on developing. Ben Green is 3rd, Luca Engstler is 4th. They're only about half a second apart. Lucas Auer is about 1.7 seconds behind Engstler, but he's got his mirrors filled with not just Jack Aitken, but the other Ferrari, Thierry Vermeulen, pretty close as well now. And the other thing that Jack said to me when I spoke to him earlier was, interestingly, we were all up there, the championship front runners, and we've all got a teammate up there somewhere as well, which could be crucial. Right, time to do the stretches, everybody, because pit stop time is coming soon.
We're all limbering up, ready to go. They might be warming up.
So that's what Brian and I do.
That's what we're
just
doing
before
at the
we
moment.
go into the commentary box. Yeah.
The pit window's coming up in 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes. Do the press up.
Yeah, I don't
really
do the press up. That's too much.
But I'm looking out the window, blue skies up above. I think that a lot of these, my predictions are notoriously wrong. I think a lot of these teams, though, might want to delay getting the cars in, because there's every chance this track is going to start drying up. I think the rain has stopped. I see no umbrellas in front of me. I see blue skies up above. So I think teams may want to keep the cars out on track till late in the window, till we start getting a little bit closer to slick tyre territory.
It's an excellent point as Jack Aitken has a look down the inside of Lucas Auer. He's got the gap, he's got his foot in the door. The Ferrari might go through here. The Mercedes will try and come back at him, but to no avail. Aitken goes through, so 2nd in the championship, passes the championship leader and moves back ahead of him. So up to 5th place for Aitken. Auer down to 6th position, but they're both losing points to the driver that's right behind the pair of them in the championship, Jordan Pepper. Now, Maro Engel having a pretty decent run after his penalty, back up to 14th place. He's behind René Rast, and René has dropped down to 13th because Ricardo Feller, who was all over him for a couple of laps, has got past in the Land Audi. So Ricardo, free now. See how he goes, because he's absolutely dropped, hasn't he, that BMW? Look, he's almost on to the next group of Nicky Tim in 10th and Ian Nguyen in 11th place.
Yeah, Feller's looking pretty useful in that Audi, and he has left René Rast in his wake, almost quite literally, really. So now René Rast clearly struggling for pace. Maro Engel, of course, who had that run through the penalty box, now lined it up behind. Also up there, Fabio Scherer having a fairly decent race as well. But at the moment, René Rast having to defend as hard as he can. There's Maurice Schuring as well coming down the waterfall. So this is a 4-way battle for 13th place that's going on at the moment. You can see the dust and the rubbish rising up into the air. Engel looks to the outside, ducks to the inside into turn 13. But René Rast is going to have a better run out along the pit straight. It's going to be a drag race in towards turn 1. Can Maro Engel make it stick alongside, absolutely side by side they run across the start-finish line. Engel, well, you can see there, the late braking on the outside, but Rast has the line into turn 1. Scherer fancies trying to relegate Maro Engel while he's at it. Engel ducks back into line, so as you were, but that was a pretty exciting couple of corners.
Yeah, good close racing, but good fair racing as well between Rast and Engel. Scherer ready to muscle in the muscle car, the Mustang, but also trying to defend from Maurice Schuring in the orange and black Manthey Junior Porsche. So a great scrap going on there for 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th positions. So as it stands, Jordan Pepper is on course for 25 points, and that will move him on to 150 if it stays like this. And the championship lead, Lucas Auer on 147 points, is picking up 10 at the moment for 6th place, and Jack Aitken on 140 points would drop down to 3rd place, but there'd only be 10 points between all three of them. It's a massive long way to go, I know, in this race, and it doesn't matter where you are in the championship on Saturday night, it matters where you are in the championship on Sunday night when you leave the event. We had a change of championship lead at the Nürburgring when Jack Aitken, for the first time in his DTM career, moved into the championship lead at on the Saturday night at the Nürburgring following his win, but it was Lucas Auer who scored points crucially and was consistent on the Sunday that moved back ahead at the end of the weekend. Now, Brian, they are trying different lines here and they're hunting for wet tarmac, aren't they?
Yes, I was just noticing the different lines down the straight. It's Thomas Preining to the inside of Marco Wittmann. Preining was in front. Wittmann had got past him, and now Preining coming back. So Thomas Preining back into that 8th place past Marco Wittmann. So just ahead of them is Thierry Vermeulen. Look at this behind as well. Nicky Tim and Ian Changuin. Ian Changuin always seems to like these wet weather conditions, doesn't he? So he now pulls alongside, drops back into line, but very lively stuff here. So Thomas Preining breaking clear in that 8th place.
Quicker than all of them is the one at the back of the queue, the Audi of Ricardo Vella, 3rd in the championship 2 years ago, 3rd last time out at the Nürburgring to get Land Motorsport their first DTM podium. He was 0.8 of a second quicker than the cars ahead of him on the previous lap. A big slide there for Ian Changuin. He just about caught that. Excellent car control for him as he went through one of these high-speed corners through turn 9 at the top of the hill. About to drop down now that section through the right at turn 11 and down through the waterfall section. But Ian Changuin having to really fight the car here. One of the other issues for the drivers now is going to be a greasy track and a slippery track. Can be harder to control than a wet track.
Did you push me in the grass on the braking?
Copy, understood. He got what he deserved. Good job.
Right, no love lost then between Schubert and Manton. Got what he deserved, says the engineer.
Yes.
So, yeah, he was pushing me, but Preining it is that came out on top. I think it's fair to say, Brian, that when it was wet, the BMWs were going well. Now it's getting damp and greasy. They're both dropping back a bit, aren't they?
Yes, René Rast has been passed by Mauro Engel, Fabio Scherer and Maurice Schöring, so we saw that he was struggling a bit for pace. Now René Rast relegated out of the points in 16th place. We did just mention the dry patches potentially on the track. Certainly drivers at the moment looking for the water to keep those wet weather tyres cool, because soon as they're not running on the wet surface, they'll start to fall apart. Looks pretty wet from where I'm standing at the moment. Marco Wittmann in front of Thomas Preining. So Marco Wittmann muscling his way back past the Porsche once again.
Ian Changuin, he's absolutely desperate to get ahead of that BMW of Marco Wittmann. Yes. Preining's gone, hasn't he?
Yes, Preining, sorry.
Wittmann, he's struggling, isn't he? And he's holding these three up now.
Yes.
Guin and Tim, who's in the sandwich, because he's got a Porsche in front of him. He's got a very rapid Audi behind him. And they're all trying to pick off this BMW, but it's a big, wide BMW. It's a driver with 204 races under his belt and 2 championship titles. And Marco Wittmann is not going to be easy to pass. Now, what about the lead gap? It keeps coming down. It was 0.6 of a second. It's now half a second. They go past the commentary box window, almost within striking distance as the pit window is now open. Is Jules Gounon. Ben Green is only just ahead of Luca Engstler. So one TGI Grasser Lamborghini is going to have to defend shortly. The other one is about to go on the attack for 3rd.
Yes, Luca Engstler's been slowly nibbling away at Ben Green for the last few laps. He's closed in on him around turn 3, Castrol Omega. They go once again. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, just past through your screen. Behind them, Jack Aitken in 5th. So he is 1.617 back from Luca Engstler. So this is all shaping up very nicely. There's Marco Wittmann with Ian Changuin behind him. Get that right this time. Yeah, he's clearly struggling for traction and pace at the moment. But look at that, blue sky. The sun has come out at the Sachsenring. Who knew?
Now, just to make the point about Marco Wittmann holding them up, in the lap after he got past Wittmann, Preining just did his best lap of the race, a 1:29.2, which was 1 second quicker than the race leader, Jordan Pepper. So Preining has got plenty of pace, but he was just being bottled up. And here he is going on the attack already. He gets past Thierry Vermeulen straight away. So that is Preining now up into 7th place. The 2023 champion is on one of his charges. Next target is going to be fellow Austrian championship leader coming into the race, Lucas Auer.
I should think Lucas Auer's heart will be sinking seeing Thomas Preining coming up behind him, because he has a championship that he's thinking about. Well, both of them do, but Lucas Auer leading at the start of this race. That lead looking all the more sketchy as this race goes on. Here's a replay. Didn't really have to do that much work at all getting past Thierry Vermeulen, did he?
Just looks like he's got better traction coming out of the corners, and gives you more opportunities to overtake, because it's not just about getting past people into corners under braking. you get the better traction, you get the power laid down, this 550, 600 brake horsepower that you're dealing with, you can just drive past them as you get that better run up to top speed quicker. Coming out of corners is another Porsche on the attack. Ungen Guwen's got the line, he's got his nose in front, and finally he gets past Marco Wittmann. So up in a 9th place now for the Turkish driver. The job not yet done for Wittmann. He's lost 1 place. He's got to try not to lose 2 more, maybe 3 more, because Maro Engel's coming after them in the background as well. But the more that Nicky Tim and Ricardo Fella fight each other, the better for Marco Wittmann. And look how rapidly already, after 3 corners, Ungen Guwen has got past Marco Wittmann and left him in his wake.
Yeah, that just proves that Marco Wittmann really is struggling for traction and pace, doesn't it? Next is going to see how quickly Nicky Tim can dispatch him. There's Ben Green, still running in 3rd place. As predicted, nobody's rushing to come in for their stop at the moment. We've got to be, I would think, before too long, getting into slick tyre territory. And now look at Thomas Breining on Lucas Auer. Again, relatively easy into turn 12. Gap on the inside. Just feels like he can place that Porsche pretty well wherever he wants.
Unstoppable, that, wasn't it? No chance of keeping him behind. He's absolutely flying, and Vermeulen is now coming after Auer as well. Now, Vermeulen can play a role here. He can take some points away from Lucas Auer. That's going to be good for his teammate, Jack Aitken, but Breining on a real charge now, up into 6th place. And 2 more Ferraris involved in battles are Green and Aitken, because Green is still fending off Engstler, and that's allowing Aitken to catch up now as well. Look, so there he is, Jack Aitken in the dark blue Ferrari 296. His teammate here doing him a bit of a favour. He's backing up Luca Engstler into Aitken, and we're going to have a 3-way tussle for the final spot on the podium soon.
So Engstler, the meat in an Emil Fry racing sandwich at the moment. Jack Aitken with a lot of pace closing in. So this is going to be a very, very interesting battle for the last of the podium positions. There's the 3rd of the Emil Fry racing cars. Thierry Vermeulen in 8th place at the moment, closing on Lucas Auer.
Here's team radio from Jordan Pepper.
He did 30.2.
I don't care about the lap time, just quick or slow, that's all I care about. Not good on, I can see the others.
Green Engster running 30.1.
Only quick or slow, I don't know what lap time I'm doing, mate.
Jordan's stress levels just going up a tad, I would say, because there's this quite rapid Frenchman behind him in a bright yellow Mercedes, which isn't exactly in stealth mode, is it? I mean, he's all over him in the mirrors. But Pepper say, look, I don't care what the lap times are. Is he quicker than me or not? That's all that matters at the end of the day. But he's sort of edged back away in the last few laps, hasn't he? And he's adapting. They're all having to adapt to the different conditions. Gunnar goes to the inside line over the start-finish line, close to the pit wall as he comes past our commentary box, just to try and hunt for some wetter circuit. This pit window, this mandatory pit window, still with 14.5 minutes to go. You've got to change tyres there, but as Brian quite rightly said, you want to really leave it as late as possible, because you don't want to come in, change to wet tyres, and then have to come back in again because the track dries out. So they're going to leave, it's going to be a flurry of entries into the pit lane towards the end of that window, and you want as few laps as possible in slippery conditions on the slick tyres as you can. Remember, no tyre warmers allowed, and these tyres take at least a lap to get up to temperature in the dry. Slick tyre in the wet, good luck with that. So there's a little bit of contact there as Ben Green continues to do a sterling defensive job in 3rd place.
Yes, defending for all he's worth. Jordan Pepper still leading the way, not looking too much under pressure. But I tell you who is under pressure at the moment. The teams, they're going to be really on edge here with the top 5 running so close together. Pit stops are going to be absolutely critical here. Every last 100th of a second is going to count as we look again. Ben Green in that 3rd place. Luca Engstler to the inside into turn 12. The gap on the inside, but now he ducks back into line once again. Is he going to move to the outside, out of the final turn, turn 13? If Engstler could make this stick, he'd have a great run into turn 1. He ducks back to the inside. The 2 cars running side by side, out along past the pits they'll come. It's a drag race into turn 1. Engstler with the wide outside, Ben Green with arguably the quicker inside. Who's going to brake late? Well, it's Ben Green still with the nose in front, but now Jack Aitken gets involved as well. Engstler to the inside of Ben Green. The 2 cars absolutely neck and neck around 2 towards turn 3. Jack Aitken fancies a move on Engstler as well. Ben Green still holds on. He goes deep into the corner. Now that leaves him vulnerable to Luca Engstler. This time Engstler with the nose in front, squeezes him onto the grass. Luca Engstler briefly up into 3rd place. Now Ben Green coming back. Jack Aitken doesn't know who to follow here. Ben Green back into that third place.
Fantastic racing from both of them. Ben Green gets his elbows out, stays in front, and now here's the opportunity for Jack Aitken to make it another pass. He's into 4th place. So Engstler briefly into 3rd place. He's ended up 5th 2 corners later. Ben Green doing the perfect team job there for Jack Aitken. But what defensive driving from Ben Green. He was on the grass at one point. There's not a lot of traction on wet grass, even with wet tyres. He did an exceptional job there. He made it hard work for Jules Gounon earlier to get 2nd place. He made it really hard for Luca Engstler there. He's ended up costing the German driver a position because Jack Aitken just watched it all go on here. Pavel's getting excited again. Absolutely loving this. Eyes popping there as he watches this fantastic battle. Engstler gave it everything, didn't he? Tremendous drive. This is the bit, look, he's on the grass. It's muddy grass. You're not supposed to have traction there, Ben. He just throws caution to the wind. I'm staying in front, he says. You are not coming through. Bits of bodywork fly. It's a wing mirror gone, isn't it, on the left side of Luca Engstler's car, which is going to make life a bit difficult later on. And all the time, it allows Thomas Breining to catch them up. And he's been the driver on a real mission in these damp conditions. So Breining, who's 5th in the championship and needs to just go for it in this next couple of races, he is in the mix now in this battle for a podium position. 11 minutes to go of the pit window. Just looking at average pit stop times this year, TGI Lamborghini by Grasser average with their 2 cars 8.1 seconds. But Winward averaged 7.3 seconds. That's the team that runs Jules Gounon. You can find 0.6 of a second. That would be enough to get him into the lead as we see a replay of just how close it was.
Yeah, some great car control there. A little bit of bumping. They say rubbing is racing as we look at Ian Changuin also getting up close and personal as well. So great onboard shots here. Lucas out, Ian Changuin running absolutely toe-to-toe through the corner, eventually advantaged Ian Changuin. Great racing. This is why we love DTM. Proper door handle to door handle stuff. Jordan Pepper not looking especially comfortable in the lead. Jules Gounon keeping the pressure on. Then we've got a gap back to Ben Green. It's actually a fairly sizable gap of about 5.8 seconds. So while Green, Aitken, Breining, Engstler have all been fighting amongst themselves, it's allowed the front 2 to break clear. Now Thomas Breining making a lot shorter work of Luca Engstler than maybe the others did. But Engstler's coming back at him. He's not just going to lie down and play dead here, is he? But Thomas Breining, that Porsche really has some pace here. Secures the position. Engstler into turn 3. A little look to the outside. Team radio. Here's Ben Green.
There's 3 cars behind you. 1 is Jack. I got track 1. Just focus on driving. I will manage it. Copy that.
Focus on driving. He drove off track twice. I guess he's talking about Luca Engstler there, says Ben Green. But a little hint there, I think, coming from Emil Fry Racing. One of the cars behind you is Jack Aitken. Jack Aitken is your teammate. Jack Aitken is going for the championship title. But Breining, yeah, getting through. What didn't help Luca Engstler there into turn 1 was that Breining was on his left side, his outside, and he wouldn't have seen him because he's got no wing mirror there.
And Luca Engstler has got a black and white flag for forcing car 10. Ben Green off the track in turn 2. Hey, guess what? Ben Green's got a black and white flag for forcing Luca Engstler off in turn 6. So they got 1 each.
Yeah, exactly right. Now that track has got a proper dry line forming, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly here, coming out of turns 12 and into turn 13, the final turn. At which point, somebody going to roll the dice now and go, right, this is, my tyres are starting to get too hot, the wet tyres are starting to get chewed up on what is a pretty abrasive circuit. Well, Andrew Gouin has just had the absolute best first sector time and a personal best lap on that lap. So having been freed of the traffic, his tyres are okay at the moment, that's for sure. But in the background, Lucas Auer down to 8th place now, has got another Ferrari to deal with. He had Jack Aitken to deal with earlier. He's now got Thierry Vermeulen to try and deal with. And Thierry can do Jack Aitken a favour here by, again, taking potentially another point away from Lucas Auer, who at the moment is going to be only 3 points ahead of him. But if Vermeulen could get ahead of Auer, that's going to change as well. So Auer looks like he's struggling on this greasy track. He might be one of the first ones to pull the pin and go on with a slick tyre.
2 in already, René Rast and Arjan Maini. So here we go. Everybody's going to be watching the timing screens here. So the BMW of René Rast and the Mustang of Arjan Maini. And out of the pits they come, very close. They're running side by side as Arjan Maini, who just eases in front, but Rene Rast had to back out of it as he came out of the pit box. So Arjamaini jumping up in front of Rene Rast.
Two of the biggest, widest cars trying to share a very narrow pit lane space here. It's only 50 kilometres an hour the pit lane speed limit here. It's lower than normal because it is a pretty narrow pit lane. Get a replay of how tight it was. Oh, you see, that's the other problem. When they come into the pits, the track might be drying up, but the pit lane is not, because there's been no tyres mopping it up, basically. So look, Will's spinning away, and then he's on the painted lines. They are even slipperier, so he's just struggling to get the power down, wasn't he?
Yes, and there's Thomas Priding as well. So that's on Jack Aitken for 4th place. Priding really is on rails, isn't he? Thierry Vermeulen trying to challenge championship leader Lucas Auer for 8th place. This is the view from the perspective of Thomas Priding, though, as he stares at 4th place Jack Aitken. Just ahead of him is Ben Green. We've all got one eye. It's going to take a couple of laps for Rash and Miney to get their tyres into the window. We're going to be very interested to see what their times are. At the moment, I would wager the track is still a little bit greasy for slick tyres, but hey, they've probably got nothing to lose back there. Ben Green in that 3rd place is broken clear because Jack Aitken is now having to defend for all he's worth from Thomas Priding.
So at the middle of the lap, he's drying up quicker because about 2/3 of the field just set personal best sector 2s on that most recent lap. So I think I'd stick with the wet tyre for now because it's on a cold tyre with no cold slick tyre with no tyre warmers. It's going to be absolutely treacherous if you go out there. They're going to have to come in the next 6 minutes or so, but I think I would leave it. I'd be tempted to leave it as long as possible before I put the slicks on.
It's going to be a busy pit lane at the end. So I said, look, see the dry line there, Adam 12 up to 13. So it's definitely getting into that realm, isn't it? Thomas Priding, again, a little look on Jack Aitken. Of course, with those wet weather tyres, he's got a bit of grip off the dry line.
Giving him a shove up the hill here, isn't he? Come on, Ferrari, he says. And Luca Engstler now comes into the pits. In the background, Ian Jagoon has just set the fastest lap of the race. 1:28.374. Here comes Tommy Priding down the inside of Jack Aitken. But he goes too deep into the corner. The Ferrari nips back up the inside of him. And Jack Aitken grabs that 4th place straight back from Thomas Priding. Brave effort from the Austrian. But Jack Aitken kind of saw it coming, didn't he? Waved him through and said, I'll get you on the way out of the corner. But the Ferrari struggling through the apex and back through now. Comes the Porsche on the way through turn 3. And Priding gets the job done. This time, he's up to 4th place.
Luke Engstler is the first of the front runners to come in, as you already mentioned. Also in, did I see Thierry Vermeulen in? Yes, I did. So Vermeulen's in as well. Of course, Emil Frey have got 3 cars to shuffle through the pits before the pit window closes. We're less than 5 minutes and everybody's going to have to come in. I think it's going to get very, very busy in the pit lane. We've also got Tom Callender, Ben Durr, Nicola Bart, they are all into the pits for their stop as well. So the leading stopper at the moment is Luca Engstler. There's an awful lot of pit stopping to come.
Yeah, Engstler are well clear of Vermeulen and of Ben Durr has made his pit stop as well. Rene Rast has just set the absolute best 2nd sector time, which follows on from what I was saying. That's the middle sector that is drying quickest. So that's that run down to turn 12, run all the way through the middle of that. Now to turn 12, but if you get it wrong on the slick tyre, you've got no chance. That's what's happened to Thierry Vermeulen, and he's skated off, and as soon as you get off that dry line, it's damp, it's even slippier, and then that sends you onto the grass, which is damp and muddy, so a lot of time lost. That's the danger. Ben Green, then, is the first of the 3 Ferraris to come in. It's going to be a busy 4 minutes, this, for Emil Frey Racing, isn't it?
And Rene Rast quickest in Sector 2 as well, so purple's in Sector 1 and in Sector 2. Good job by Emil Frey Racing. They were rehearsing those pit stops when it was almost dark last night. Well, that's all paid off because Ben Green's in and out. Fairly decent stop for him. Everybody else, 7.6 in fact for Ben Green. Now it's getting very, very busy in the pit lane. What a great perspective from Eric Lingerman for Team Windward Racing. No pressure, got a camera on your head as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to deal with the slippery surface as well, which is another factor, isn't it, for those 6 guys working on the pit stops. So there is Luca Engstler on a dry track. Tom Callender's the next one to fall victim to dry tyres that can't find any grip as it gets them up to temperature on a damp surface. So he goes off into the gravel track and rejoins as well in the second of the Landgraf Mercedes, and people will see that and think, yeah, I do want to stay on the wet tyres as long as I possibly can, but there's only 3 minutes of that pit window remaining. But as you say, Rast certainly pushing on, isn't he, with the absolute best 2nd sector again and 3rd sector and a personal best lap now So René Rast on a decent charge here in the BMW, and it looks like Preining comes in from that lead quartet.
This could have been a masterstroke for Schubert Motorsport, bringing Rast in that early. Right, well, Thomas Preining probably quite happy to stay on the tyres he's on. He's been so quick, but now the slick tyres are ready. So Manthey EMA get to work. They are so good on pit stops, have been all season long. He lights up the rear tyres. Out into the fast lane goes Thomas Preining. Job done. Great job by the team.
Yeah, Ben Green, who's made his pit stop already, he's just at turn 12 at the moment in the number 10 Ferrari. But it's going to take a long time to get these tyres up to temperature for Tommy Preining. So he now accelerates, having gone past the white line, which marks the end of the pit lane. And we'll now see just how little grip he's got. Marco Wittmann, the next one to come in and make his pit stops. Another tight exit from the pit lane there. The BMW has to come off second best again behind the Porsche of Maurice Skuring. So almost gaining posties in their pit stops, both of the BMWs, but ultimately having to back off out of it. Timo Glock trying to light his tyres up as well, coming out of the pits now as the overall race leader Jordan Pepper makes his way into turn 12. He's 2.4 seconds clear now of Jules Gounon. So as the track has dried, Gounon has grown his advantage, hasn't he?
Yes, so he's not got long, Jordan Pepper, to come in. It's going to have to be this time around. So here he comes just in the nick of time. You can see the dry line appearing on the track. So we're definitely into slick tyre territory. So Jordan Pepper and Jules Gounon in. So this is really pressure onto the team as Lucas Auer just trying to get the heat into the tyres. Arjun Maini, of course, who'd pitted a couple of laps earlier, had hot tyres as well. The drivers having to tiptoe around the Castrol Omega turn.
Preining still ahead of Green in terms of the front runners that have made their pit stop. They're both charging down towards turn 12 as Pepper and Gounon are released. That gap is not 2.5 seconds anymore, is it? Wynn would have had a better pit stop. So Gounon was turned around in 6.8 seconds stationary time. Actually, Pepper's is shown as 6.3. But that gap certainly is not as big as it was at the start of the previous lap, 2.5 seconds. So maybe a better in lap then for Jules Gounon. Now, Gouin comes out, look, crucially ahead of Aitken. So Gouin's come into the picture here. And then, fifth of the pit stoppers at the moment is Preining with Green behind him, but they've got their tyres a bit warmer at least, so Preining will just easily dispatch of the Ferrari of Aitken. Green for now will get past his teammate. What about Gouin? Well, he's not going to fight too hard, I don't think, is he, against Thomas Preining, who's got a bit more heat in the tyres there. So these two side by side trying to get on the power, but it is Preining that comes through, and it's the front of that particular battle to potentially be up to a net third now.
So Jordan Pepper will be giving it everything to get heat into the tyres in front of this battle. Look at Ben Green, who's trying to pick his time to get past Ai-Chen Gouin while the temperature is building in the tyres. You saw Thomas Preining just weaving as well, but Ben Green trying to make the jump as quickly as he can. There's a traffic jam behind everybody with those slippery tyres, trying to get the temperature into them. But it looks so Jordan Pepper has held off Jules Gounon at the lead of the race, but Thomas Preining into third place.
Yeah, it's the big winner in all of that, isn't he?
Whoa!
Oh, no! Thierry Vermeulen trying to get up the inside of Barrow Engel, pirouettes around once, twice, 720-degree spin. It looks pretty, it looks beautiful, it's well controlled, but ultimately he's going to lose a ton of time. So Vermeulen, not for the first time in this season, having an issue that involves Barrow Engel. So those two almost, I don't think there was contact, but it was Vermeulen getting on the brakes that caused them the spin. That is under investigation, no surprise. Let's get a replay on board with Maro, looking back at Vermeulen. He hits the curbs in the Ferrari, looks for the inside. There's the contact, and he was halfway alongside. He'll say, I've got the inside line. Maro Engel will say, well, no, you haven't got the inside line because we're coming out of the corner. And yeah, it's the Ferrari that comes off worst. Engel, I don't think will have any real damage. He held it beautifully, didn't he? But that's a real shame for Thierry Vermeulen, who has a bit of a love-hate relationship, I would say, with the Sachsenring after almost winning a race here last year, but getting a podium. Now, fastest lap of the race, yes. Arjun Maini in the Mustang, 1:23.086.
In fact, he and Fabio Scherer have been trading fastest laps for the last couple of laps, so the two Mustangs clearly loving these conditions. So Jules Gounon on the team radio.
Okay, we have 14 minutes. Preining behind is 1 lap hotter tires.
So overall, in that pit stop phase, Gunon gained about a second. He was 2.4 behind before they both came into the pits. He's 1.3 behind now, so he has gained some ground here. Jordan Pepper continues to lead with the pit stops now done. Gunon is second. Preining is the big winner here, up to third. Big gap back then, and then the other winner is the other Manthey EMA Porsche of Angel Guin, is up to fourth place now. And then Aitken, and then Enxler, and then Green has dropped back behind both of them. So Green down to seventh place. And then you've got a big old gap back to Maurice Skuring has shot up the order, hasn't he? Up to eighth place. So all three of the Manthey run cars, great through the pit stops. Here's a replay of Maro Engel almost getting a tank slapper into the side of Fabio Scherer's Mustang, and just showing how slippy that pit lane still is.
In fact, Jack Aitken's also been given a warning for parallel driving in the pit lane. So this is the warning. It was a black and white flag for this alongside Ernst Guin. So the two cars running side by side, parallel racing in the pit lane, and very much frowned upon in DTM. So we've still got 12 minutes remaining, plus one lap of this race, still plenty to come. Thomas Preining, now is he going to have the same kind of pace on slicks? He's on the team radio.
We have the pace to win it. We have one advantage on Guno, and we closed in massively. Let's go.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
You can go with this.
Yeah.
So Preining will try as well. Don't doubt that. He will go for it. He's not really interested in third or second. He wants the win. So the 2023 champion is coming. But great work throughout pit stop phase by Manthey EMA, who have upped the game and upped the positions for all three of their drivers. Now, as it stands, Lucas Auer has dropped to 13th place in all of that. He really did start to struggle as the track got greasy, and he's lost more through the pit stop phase. So down to 13th place for Lucas Auer. So he's only scoring 3 points at the moment. Jack Aitken is fifth and scoring, sixth and scoring 10. So there'll be 1 point between them. 140 for Auer, 139 for Aitken, and still leading the race on 25 points and up to 150. And the championship lead will be Jordan Pepper. But he's got his work cut out, because here comes a very rapid Porsche to dispatch first of Jules Gunon. Just drives past him. So Preining charging through to second place. He has now got his eyes fixed firmly on the back of that Lamborghini. The 2023 champion, Thomas Preining, his home race to come next at the Red Bull Ring. He's on a mission.
I tell you what, Jules Gunon had nothing that he could defend with there, did he? Nothing was going to stop Thomas Preining, and Jordan Pepper will be trembling as he looks in his mirrors. Meanwhile, Lucas Auer has made it up to 12th place, so he has made a move. Timo Glock down to 14th, so Maro Engel up to 13th as well. So the points situation changing lap by lap, but Thomas Preining really going to upset the apple cart here, because he is reeling in Jordan Pepper. So they cross the line, 1.579 across the line. Wonder how big that gap's going to be next time around. You can see the dry patches on the track. Now the drivers all aiming for the dry bits rather than the wet bits. But Thomas Preining into second. You heard the team say it. We can win this. Jordan Pepper, here is team radio.
Okay, Preining overtook Gunon and is behind you. How much quicker is he than me? 1 second.
Oh, you do not want to hear that.
No.
1 second quicker than you. Right. You got to find something here, Jordan. Look at him fighting the wheel here. And look how quickly Thomas Preining is coming after him. He is absolutely on it, driving brilliantly, the Austrian here in this Porsche, closing in on the race leader. Remember, he was barely in the top 10 after qualifying. He's already, as it stands, going to move up ahead of René Raston into 4th place in the championship. Lucas Auer's up to 12th now, so he's got another championship point. So it'll be 150 for Pepper if he can hold on to the lead, 141 for Auer and 139 for Aitken. But there's a 10-point swing here potentially. You score 25 or you score only 20 points, with Preining, of course, gaining the 5, and he's still very much a championship contender. There's some dark skies over in the background still, so don't rule out another shower or two coming in this last 8 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap of the race. But Preining goes through with, guess what, the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.9. That was 1.1 seconds quicker than Jordan Pepper. This feels, at this stage of the race at least, inevitable. That Porsche is just eating up the advantage of the Lamborghini. Pepper's trying his hardest here, but he'll be looking in the mirrors thinking, how am I going to stop this absolute missile coming at me? Because Preining is already closed the gap. He started the lap half a second behind. He's now right behind the rear wing of Jordan Pepper. And even if he's got the world's widest Lamborghini, Brian, this is going to be super hard to keep Bryony behind him.
Yeah, he's going to struggle, isn't he? He's got 8 minutes to the end of this race, plus the obligatory 1 lap, and he's going to struggle to do it even for 1 more lap. I think at this rate, you can see how quickly Thomas Preining closed in. So at the moment, just lining him up down the waterfall, he'll come. He'll try and get as close as he can into turn 12, and then it's up into turn 13, where I think Pepper is going to be at his most vulnerable as they come out of that final turn along the pit straight. So Preining lining him up in his sights. Up the hill they come in towards turn 13. Now, out along the pit straight, this is going to be the battle of the horsepowers. Out past the pits they come. Thomas Preining in the slipstream. Is he going to duck out as they head towards turn 1? Will he go to the inside, to the outside? Will he stay behind? Decides not to attack at this point. So maybe Pepper survives through another lap.
Can take his time. Meanwhile, in the background, Aitken up to 5th, ahead of Engstler. So that's another point coming the way of the British driver. But Preining can take his time here because you've got, amazing this, a 6.5 seconds gap back to Gounon. He only took Gounon, what, 2 laps ago for 2nd place? It's absolutely dropped him. So huge speed difference here. Preining could take his time in finding a way through. So Maro England, Timo Glock go past the commentary box window, absolutely side by side in the battle for 13th place. But we've got to focus on this. Preining has, having caught up to Jordan Pepper absolutely rapidly, now it looks like Pepper is finding something here, because Pepper, look, has just done a personal best first sector time, which was a 10th up on Preining. So it felt like Preining was going to catch him and just drive past him. Pepper has a different idea about all of this.
I wonder how much life Thomas Preining took out of those tyres getting past Jules Gounon. And of course, off the dry racing line would be very difficult to run. So maybe Jordan Pepper has just got a bit of a lifeline here. He's found that pace. Preining, oh, there's a Aston Martin, Nicola Bart. Backwards in the gravel. Now this is going to bring out his safety car, at the very least a full course yellow if he can't get it going. So Nicola Bart, turn 13, into the gravel trap, and he's going nowhere. I think we're going to get some kind of caution here because he's in a very vulnerable position.
Absolutely, and he's properly beached, isn't he? So Nicola Bart, a Belgian driver, I'm afraid, stuck, stranded where he is.
Car.
And yep, safety car is coming out. That is, it doesn't really affect Pepper and Preining in their battle with each other, but it's great news for Jules Gounon.
Yes.
Because he was miles behind. He's going to be right back up with them now.
Game on!
What about Andrew Gouin as well? Because Gouin has been rapid, hasn't he? Now, his last lap was a second quicker than Jules Gounon, and he's going to be right behind him thanks to the safety car now. So if Gouin could get past Gounon, he'll be 3rd, and he might be able to help his teammate go for that race win if they can gang up on Jordan Pepper.
Jack Aiken will fancy something from there as well. Oh, this really changes the dynamic of the race because, of course, we're all going to be nose to tail when this thing gets back under green flag. So the whole dynamic changes once again. We had that charge from Thomas Preining. Jordan Pepper looked to have pegged it back. Once they've moved that Aston Martin, there's not going to be a lot of time left. So Jordan Pepper will be thinking, I just need to make this car as wide as I possibly can. Keep it on that narrow, dry line. I'm looking up above. It's got very dark. We might yet even get rain in the next 4.5 minutes. Who knows? Jordan Pepper just focusing on what's ahead. Boy, he must be stressed.
Remember, we could increase the race distance by up to 2 joker laps.
Of course.
Laps are lost to the safety car as well. Bad news, Jordan Pepper. Good news for Thomas Preining. So might have more laps to go potentially. Here's Lucas Auer on Team Radio back in 12th place.
Before you goes green again, because your pace right now is mega. It's just middle sector where you struggle a bit. But 1 and 3 is really strong. So hopefully it goes back to green and we can be in some positions.
So pleased with the pace of Auer. He just lost all that time really when we're at the end of that stint on the wet tyres, didn't he, when the track was drying up, and lost more time during the pit stop phase. But they're happy with the pace of Auer now. So the idea for him is go forwards when we go up to race pace again. Thierry Vermeulen, I'm afraid, has gone into the pits. So another disappointing visit to the Sachsenring for the Dutch driver. A replay of, now this is Engstler, Aitken, a green. Swapping Ferrari paintwork with his teammate there. So Aitken glances in the mirrors. What's all that about then?
That's going to make some fun conversations over dinner tonight, wasn't it? So,
but it didn't worry Jack, because this then, shortly afterwards, was him in battle with Luca Engstler. There was the tap, and he eventually did get past Luca, and he's now up to 5th place. New race distance confirmed that it's going to be 55 minutes plus 2 laps, might be 3 if we have another one behind the safety car. But the marshals here and the recovery team did an excellent job to get the Aston Martin out of the gravel pretty quickly. We are towards the end of the lap though, and the safety car lights are still on, so I suspect it's going to be at least another 1 lap, but probably only 1 lap behind the safety car. You go off the racing line, it's still pretty damp, isn't it, into some corners, so you've still got to be very careful out there. Now you also get, now there's no rain, all the mud coming up on the windscreen. Or is that a bit more rain? That's a bit more rain.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, crikey.
Oh, can we take any more?
It's one of those super stressful races for the drivers, isn't it? Because you never quite know what you're going to get until you arrive at the corner.
Well, it's going to be a real dash for the cash here. This could go in any direction as we look at some lovely replays of them using the curb and maybe a little bit more to extract everything out of the track. But by the time we come back round, well, around at turn 2 at the moment, the clock is going to be into probably about the final minute or so. So we're probably going to have about 3 laps left in this race. 3 laps to Jordan Pepper to hold on to. Right, is this wet weather tyres going on to Arjun Maini?
Slicks have come off for sure.
What are they doing here? So Maini was in 20th place, nothing to lose. Also in Tom Callender, also having come in as well.
I suspect wets.
Are they wets?
Right.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
wet tyres.
Why not?
So, well,
go for it.
Yeah, the rain's coming down. This could be a gift.
And confirmation that it will now be a 55-minute plus 3 lap race due to the fact that we've got these extra 2 laps behind the safety car. So that's the maximum it can be now. We have got 1 minute and 24 seconds left on the clock. So the clock, as Brian said, is going to be close to running out at the end of this lap. Safety car confirmed as coming in on this lap. Rain started to come down, and all but 2 of them, all but Arjun Maini and Tom Callender, on slick tyres. A real venture into the unknown. But I tell you what, the way he was driving when it was greasy, when it was slippery, on his slick tyre, Thomas Preining, got to be favourite here, hasn't he? The way he's been going, he was absolutely on it. But yeah, Jordan Pepper is going to dig his heels in here. Every point counts in this championship, and he wants to get his 2nd win in the DTM as well. He is on full focus here, and Pepper is the one man that can stop Thomas Preining, I think, winning this race.
This is going to be the toughest 3 laps of Jordan Pepper's DTM career, I reckon. He's got Thomas Preining, who is on rails. He's got the rain coming down. They're on slick tyres. 3 laps between now and the checkered flag. In fact, 4, because the clock hasn't struck 0. So Jordan Pepper would have done better to have backed him up a bit longer, really, wouldn't he? Right, here we go, back along the pit straights.
4 laps to go, including this one. Windscreen wipers on, heart rate's up. Pepper continues to lead further back, though. Ben Green getting up the inside of Luca Exler. What a great race this has been for Ricardo Feller as well in the Audi. He's coming up the inside, 3 abreast here. Exler and Green going at it again. They're not the best of friends. Here comes Ricardo Feller to try and join the party, and Maurice Skuring is trying to go around the outside of everybody in the orange and black Manthey Junior Porsche. So fantastic stuff. Nobody's got any idea how much grip there is until they get there. The BMW of Marco Wittmann gets battered, but survives. And there we go with Jules Gounod dropping down the order as well from 3rd, down behind Guan, down behind Aitken, and down to 5th place. So Aitken up into the top 4 now as we look back at René Rast trying to gain positions, but it is still Jordan Pepper in the lead from Thomas Preining. The cavalry is coming though, because Preining's teammate Andrew Guan up to 3rd will be with them shortly, I reckon.
Wow, brilliant stuff. Jack Aitken muscled his way past Jules Gounod. Gounod clearly struggling for pace now in these slippery conditions, looking vulnerable to Luca Exler. Here come the rest of them. Remember, we've got 2 cars on the wet weather tyres as well. At the moment, Jordan Pepper looks to have Thomas Preining covered off at the moment. They've broken clear of Ai Cheng-gun in 3rd place. Now Thomas Preining starts to put the pressure on. Out of turn 13, out along the pit straight, they will come with just 2 laps remaining. Jordan Pepper goes wide. Thomas Preining to the lead of the race out of turn 13. Jack Aitken alongside Ai Cheng-gun. This will be for a podium position as well.
And he's through, is he? He's got his nose in front on the outside. Gounod, though, goes deep into the corner. Here comes Jules Gounod to try and make it 3 abreast. Nguyen is still there, and he still just about hangs on to third place from Aitken at 4th, and then third in that queue. 5th place is Jules Gounon. Ben Green trying to get back in the mix as well. This is what it looks like to be chased down by Jules Gounon. Bit of contact there as Gounon tries to get back up into a podium position. They're twitching and dancing all over the place, these cars, as they try and lay down 600 brake horsepower. What a battle this is. Then Ben Green has got to try and deal with the Audi of Ricardo Feller, which got ahead of Luca Engstler. So Feller having a tremendous run here. He's up to 7th place in this race now. But the leader from 9th on the grid, remember, is Thomas Preining. Pepper, he's going to have to dig deep now if he's going to catch back up to Preining, because Preining is absolutely mint in these conditions.
And Jack Aitken's broken clear of Jules Gounon as well. Gounon still struggling, the back end of that car sliding. Here comes Luca Engstler on Ricardo Feller. Keep an eye on Maurice Schöring as well in 9th place. Everybody fancies a chance here into turn 12. Schöring has a look to the inside of Luca Engstler. Marco Wittmann in there as well. But Thomas Preining now breaking clear. There's some debris floating across the track. Thomas Preining has broken clear, but now Luca Engstler with problems. The whole field comes streaming through. He just got onto the slippery, wide surface of the track and lost all that traction. So Luca Engstler, after such a lot of hard work, is relegated down the order. René Rast to the inside as well, having a look. There's Timo Glock in there. Everybody's scrambling for positions in the closing stages of this race. That's René Rast. He's down in 16th place at the moment, but everybody sees it as an opportunity to try and get past. Timo Glock has lost the front cover of his car.
Quick maths, I reckon we got 5 points between the top 4 in the championship as it stands. Pepper now only scoring 20 points for second on 145, 142 apiece for Auer, and Aitken now is up to 11th place now. And then Preining, 25 points, a second win of the season coming his way, will be on 140 points. What a season this is turning into. But Preining, what a drive it has been. He's now 0.6 of a second clear. The time long since ran out, so we're into the final countdown now in terms of laps added on. T-Radio drivers being urged on, trying to concentrate on what they're doing. Sunshine comes out, rain goes away. It's that gamble for Miney and Canada to go the wet tyres, I'm afraid, hasn't worked. Here comes Thomas Preining then on his way through turn 13. Gets on the gas, accelerates over the line. Preining being urged on here because here comes Jordan Pepper following alongside him, and Ian Nguyen for company as well. Pepper back into the lead of the race. He's on the outside though. Preining's on the inside. Comes down between them. Nguyen's going to get the lead. Nguyen goes through from 3rd to 1st in the bright green Porsche. Shoved off onto the cones of the grass is Preining. 2nd stays the Jordan Pepper Lamborghini, but it's Ian Nguyen that benefits. And now here comes Jack Aitken. He slices up the inside and goes 3rd. Wow!
What an amazing move. Ian Nguyen chose his time, but when the front two cars got together, Jordan Pepper found some pace from somewhere to pull alongside Thomas Preining. But it was Ian Nguyen who came out on top. Now Jack Aitken squeezes his way through as well into a podium position. A lap ago, Thomas Preining was leading the race. Now he's in 4th.
How is he going to finish 4th in this race? Oh, and Ben Green, I'm afraid, on the last lap of the race is off into the gravel trap. He was running in 6th place. But Ian Nguyen is about to become a 3-time DTM race winner. He picked that move to perfection. He let them get on with their battle. It was a parting of the waves, and through he went as Maro Engel now driving up the inside of Lucas out to potentially put Lucas down to 12th place. But opportunistic driving from Ian Nguyen gets him his 3rd win of the season.
I'm speechless, it's incredible.
Well, that's going to be bittersweet for Manthey, isn't it? Wow.
This is how we do, guys, okay? Let's go.
He's won the race. He just picked that to perfection. He's going to have to buy his teammate, Thomas Preining, a very large beer. Oh, well,
I'm going to have to see some replays of that.
Yeah, that's going to be, what a spectacular way to win a race at the start of the final lap of the race. Preining looked like he got it done and dusted, didn't he, after getting the lead of the race. Then Pepper gets that great run at him. Those two battle each other, shoulders out, elbows out, and then picking them both off as they went wide into turn 1 at the start of the final lap. This green missile comes through, and it's win number 3 of the season for Ian Nguyen. Now, the most winning driver of the season. What a drive, what a race, what a battle. the sort of race where it can all go easily wrong. So Jordan's going to be disappointed, of course, in a sense, to be second, but also kind of happy to have survived all of that, come home in second, and crucially outscored all of his championship rivals.
I'll tell you what, 5 minutes ago, there's no way on earth I would have had money on Iron Chain Goon winning that. Just goes to show how close. I mean, he was quick, but he was not in that lead battle. But that is the trick, isn't it? You let them fight it out in front and you pick your moment to come sailing through, and this is it here.
Here we go. So what happened here? He just went a bit wide, didn't he? Just understeered because he was well clear. Yeah, just lost the traction there. So here comes Jordan Pepper coming out of the last corner. Pepper's got to go for it here. He's got to go for the win. He's got the traction. He's in front. Priding got to try and defend it. He's got to try and hang on. Breaks as late as he dares. They send each other wide. And Guin reads it beautifully, picks them both off. Jordan then elbows through, muscles his way back out of Priding, and then Priding loses another place a corner later to Jack Aitken in the Ferrari. How he has ended up fourth in that race, I'll never know, because it looked for all the world like he was going to win it. There was the contact between them. Thank you very much, says Iron Guin. I'll take that. More contact between Pepper and Priding. And here comes Jack Aitken, again, reading things beautifully, and he gets through and gains the ground. So that was just understeering wide. Right. We've got a penalty for
92.
Number 92 coming through as well, which is Norris Scuring. Real shame. That's put him out of the top 10. So Scuring loses a ton of time, and that was how it looked on board with Jordan Pepper. Look how wide he went. Guin is going to be absolutely thrilled with that. So will all of his fans, friends, family. It's another win. He's had such bad luck in this championship for the first couple of years. It has started to come right for him. And ever the sportsman, Jordan Pepper, comes up and says, well done, mate. Thuds the camera on his way around and says, congratulations, Jack Aitken. There might be perhaps a discussion between Jordan Pepper and Thomas Priding after that race. But you can't take anything away from Iron Guin. From 10th on the grid, Brian, he wins for the third time this season. He's the victor in round 11 of the championship.
And boy, if you win this one, you really have won in all these changeable conditions. Of course, into that turn one, Thomas Priding, he just couldn't get it slowed down, could he? And that's just gave that opening to Iron Chain Goon. You got to be in it. You got to be there to take those opportunities. And he was there. He kept his cool, saw that gap, and then just went sailing through on the inside. And now he receives the congratulations from Manthey EMA. I don't think his teammate meant to help him, but he certainly did help him there, didn't he? Thomas Priding with that move into turn one allowed Iron Chain Goon through to take that win, and what a win that is. That turns the championship on its head once again. The team just celebrating as we head down to Verena in the pit lane.
And I'm here with Jordan Pepper, leading the race for most of the time, and in the last minutes unfortunately got overtaken, so I see big disappointment in your face.
Yeah, disappointed. I mean, we had the race in our hands, did everything we can, but
I wanted to try.
Yeah, just frustrating. The way it got taken away from us there at the end is just super frustrating and not how we want to go racing. But P2 nevertheless, still good points. They're going to take a while to get over this because we deserve better.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Very honest words there, and back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Yeah, clearly frustrated, and you can absolutely understand that. There's Iron Guin's dad, and talk about gutted. Absolutely gutted. He didn't even get on the podium after that phenomenal drive. Thomas Priding, just that car going wide at the last corner at the start of the final lap of the race. And he is gutted. He was giving it everything. He needed to give it everything to try and get back in the championship fight. Thomas Priding always gives 100%, and it will take a bit of time for him to get over this one too. Quick maths, Jack Aitken scores third place, another podium, 16 points. Jordan Pepper scores 20 points for second. I reckon they're tied on 145 points apiece, this pair, for the championship lead. But Jack will be the championship leader because he's got one more win than Jordan Pepper. Lucas Auer, in other news, did lose that 9th place to Maro Engel on the final lap. It's a good comeback drive, that, from Maro. 10th place for Lucas Auer. So he does keep his run of finishing every race this season in the top 10, Lucas Auer. But he'll be a tad disappointed having started 5th. But he's only 2 points behind Aitken and Pepper. And then Thomas Priding on having lost those points, dropping what was potentially been 3rd or 4th in the championship, dropping out of the running. Iron Guin 25 points, third win of the season, 119. He's not out of the championship fight either, is he?
Wow, it just shows how quickly it can turn around. Lots of honourable mentions in dispatches. Ricardo Feller in the Audi in 6th place. Fabio Scherer in 8th place. That was a good job done there. Max Powell from near the back. He finished in 12th. Mirko Bortolotti down in 15th. So still looking for something more from that car, but some really interesting positions in that. Jules Gounon ended up in 5th place. He'll be thoroughly disappointed with that.
Yeah, and Luca Engstler, look, for all the world, like he's going to get at least a top 5, top 6 finish out of that, possibly a podium. He's ended up down in 11th. So it's going to be very different emotions on the podium, isn't there? It's going to be an absolutely delirious Engin Nguyen.
Yes.
There's going to be bittersweet result that for Manthey, because their driver's won it, but their other driver has also lost it, hasn't he? With this is just a big gap he had, 6-7 tenths of a second, came out of the last corner to start the last lap of the race. Preining then succumbs to Jordan Pepper. Pepper's in front, he's on the outside line. Preining sees the gap, comes back down the inside. They're both going for the win, and out wide they both go. Through from 3rd to 1st comes Engin Nguyen. Pepper then more contact. And no love lost between him and Thomas Preining as they fight for 2nd, and that then delays Preining further still, who ended up 4th at the next corner behind Jack Aitken. So, well, turn 1 at the Sachsenring has been pretty dramatic for Jordan Pepper for 2 years running now, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's fed up with turn 1. Yeah, I mean, Preining looked like he just couldn't get it slowed down into turn 1. I think there was a bit of contact between them as well. This is the view from Jack Aitken. You can see Preining going deep into turn 1, and Jack Aitken had to be careful not to make contact with Jordan Pepper as he came back out. So Jack Aitken had a great view of it as well, eventually coming home in that 3rd place. Everybody on tenterhooks here. What a finish to a race.
How do you make a race spectacular? You just put a bit of rain on
Yes.
before they get going. And, wow, I tell you what, though, some fantastic driving from the field, wasn't there? When they were out on slick tyres with no clue what grip they were going to get after the pit stops. And, of course, even when they're on the wets at the start of the race, nobody knew what the track was like, how to drive it in the wet. So they've all done really a phenomenal job. But as for as many delighted drivers, there's some very, very disappointed ones as well. Ben Green as well.
Oh,
6th on the last lap of the race, and he ends up with a DNF, I'm afraid. So lots of mixed emotions out there, but it was a fully dramatic race, wasn't it? And it is from 10th on the grid, a very, very smiley Engin Nguyen that makes his way to the podium.
Can't believe it,
He's
can
a
he?
really, really likeable guy.
Yeah.
He's driven brilliantly this year. We're finally getting to see how good a driver he is. He's not had the chance to do it up until this year. Jordan Pepper's got no qualms with Engin Nguyen. Of course, he was going to come through and storm past them, but he has he's robbed it there, hasn't he? Right at the end, a bank robbery job. Snatched the gold on the last lap of the race.
I've been watching Engin Nguyen over the years through Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany, Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. As you say, it's taken him a couple of years really to get into the groove in DTM, but now he's in the groove, he really is properly in the groove, and we know how good he is, and he's a proper nice bloke as well.
Yeah.
So it just couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, and really, really pleased for him. A 3-time winner in DTM in a season as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
More wins than anybody else on the grid this year now. How about that? That's not bad, is it? Dad's happy again. Remember the emotion that he had when Engin got his first race victory in the DTM at Oschersleben. Well, ticking along nicely now. 3 race wins. Absolutely still in the championship fight as well. He's only going to be, 26 points away from the championship lead. And I think Jack Aitken probably pretty happy with 3rd place to kind of survive all of that, nick a podium at the end. But it was hard work, wasn't it? Not just physically, but mentally. The concentration was writ all over the faces of those drivers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen anyone so disappointed with 2nd place either, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, it was just focus. This is man and machine versus the track, versus the elements, versus each other. They had everything thrown at them. Anybody who finished this race is a bit of a winner in my book. But Engin Nguyen just keeping out of trouble like that. I mein, that was absolutely brilliant stuff. We just saw him there talking to his dad, talking to Osman Tucharoglu, who his son, Gianluca, who's looking to follow in the tracks of Engin in the Porsche pyramid, to say. But yeah, lots of reflection. Jack Aitken, though, he's done his championship, no harm whatsoever here, has he? You reckon he's joint at the top, do you?
Yeah, but with more wins. So if my maths is correct, and it's all unofficial this, but it should be the second Saturday running that he's edged up into the championship lead. And an honorary mention absolutely needs to go to somebody who's not on the podium but drove brilliantly in that race from 20th on the grid. Ricardo Feller in the Land Motorsport Audi finished in an excellent 6th place. Great drive from the Swiss driver there. Of course, was battling for the championship title just 2 years ago. So excellent effort by him and by the team. And again, hats off to all the teams there, because they had a lot of stress to deal with. The pit stops, the choice of tyres, when to change. A lot to think about in that race. Full of drama, but at the end of it all, these are the 3 drivers that come out on top. Big smiles for Jack Aitken, back up onto the podium following his win, of course, last time out at the Nürburgring. He just needs a good Sunday now to get some points on a Sunday to keep things going, keep the momentum going, heading towards the final 2 weekends of the season. One thing we do know for sure is that day 2 in the DTM is usually pretty different to day 1. Jordan Pepper, 2nd place, bittersweet for him. But there is a man who is on top of the world, Ian Nguyen, with a famous victory. He will never, ever forget that victory today, will he? The way it came about. Top step of the podium. Dad's delighted. And here comes the winning team as well. Manthey, EMA. Terrific job once again in the pit stop phase. But again, they've got 1 very happy driver, but 2 very disappointed drivers to deal with. Let's now get the Turkish national anthem. Ian Nguyen sings every word of the national anthem of his country, Turkey, and his country will be super proud. He's got a huge fan base at home. Earlier this season, he became the first ever Turkish driver to win in the DTM. He's now been on the top step of that podium 3 times. He holds aloft another winner's trophy. What a way to win a race as well. I mean, it was a terrific drive through to 3rd place. He would have been pretty happy with that, I think, from 10th. But to get the win the way he did, absolutely mega. Norbert Haug, he's presenting the next trophy, still very much involved in an advisory role in the DTM. It goes to Jordan Pepper. He wanted that win so badly, he fought so hard for it. It wasn't quite to be, but the long game is the one that counts, and he's absolutely in this championship fight, and so is that man, Jack Aitken. They are the 2 that have come out on top in terms of the point standings, both of them outscoring Lucas Auer, who could only manage 10th place in that race. Peter Weidinger presents the winning trophy to our winning team, Manthey EMA, who are going for the team's championship if they can as well, to try and take that crown away from Schubert, who won it last year. Now they'll pose for some photos on the top step, and moments after that, the drivers will absolutely splatter the lesser experienced member of Manthey in terms of opening champagne. I'm sure he's going to come out absolutely last place in the next race. So all smiles. Jordan still manages to smile despite the disappointment. It's great to see him congratulating Ian Nguyen as well. Now it's champagne time. I tell you, he's done a pretty good job. He's going for it. He's getting the racing drivers. Jack Aitken getting fully pelted there, and big smiles on Ian Nguyen's face. It is turning into easily his best season so far in the DTM. He's been a champion twice in French Porsche Carrera Cup Championship racing. He's been a real front runner in the Porsche Super Cup. Now we can say he's absolutely a front runner in the DTM as well, Brian.
We were last week talking about our favourite race of the year so far, and we had it down to a couple. I think we've just added another one into the equation. That is one, particularly that last lap. But the whole race is going to be replayed for a long time to come. That was spectacular, wasn't it?
It was certainly the most dramatic race of the season, wasn't it? That's for sure. Andrew Guan wins it then, right at the death, taking victory from Jordan Pepper. Third, Jack Aitken. Thomas Preining fourth. He led with a lap and a bit to go. Jules Gounon fifth. Ricardo Feller storming through to 6th place from 20th on the grid. Marco Wittmann as well did a solid job, didn't he, in the Schubert BMW for 7th place. Fabio Scherer, his best result so far on his return to the DTM. 8th place, that's another top 10 for HRT with the Mustang. 2 top 6s so far for Arjun Maini. Maro Engel, a good recovery to 9th. Lucas Auer, 10th. Luca Enxler will be frustrated with 11th. Max Powell does a good job to get up to 12th. Timo Glock in the points, as was Rene Rast and Mirko Bortolotti. Lots to talk about then. Let's get some more reaction with Verena.
And I'm here with a very, very happy man. Congratulations, Jan, that was amazing. Coming from P9 in the last minutes and whoop, you get your victory. Fantastic.
Yeah, another crazy race where mentally we need to stay calm, because when it's wet, I want to go long and you need to take care of your tires. So in the beginning and first 2-3 people was overtaking me. But I was telling myself, John, don't damage your car. Stay calm, your time will come. I was investing, and then end of the first stint, I started to catch the pace, and after pits we were P4. And honestly, I had the only shot for P3. But then when there was a safety car restart, when I was P4, I know what to do, what I want. And yeah, I overtake Gounod, and then Jordan and Preining had a moment in T1, which honestly I was thinking for 20 seconds, because when I see what happened coming to last corner, I say, okay, I have a chance. I just position myself, and I know racing drivers, because I'm also a racing driver, what they will do, and they do what I expect from them, and I win. I'm super happy. 3rd win of the year. We are doing a really good season. Thanks to the team, they are doing mega job, and yeah, I'm proud with. It was not easy races in Nürburgring and Nürburgring, but we show in Nürburgring Sunday, and today we are mentally strong and we are always in the game.
Absolutely. Congratulations again, Jan, and back to you guys.
Yeah, well done, John. That was mega. I knew what to do, he said with a smile on his face. That, to me, is part of the beauty of top-level motorsport. It's not just about the skill and utter skill of driving cars quickly. It's about outsmarting your opponent, thinking ahead. What's going to happen, not now, but at the next corner and the corner after that. And that he did perfectly. He said, 20 seconds before that happened, I knew exactly what they were going to do, and I positioned myself and I waited for the door to open up, and that's exactly what happened. Jack Aitken, 3rd place. 2nd place for Jordan Pepper, but from 10th on the grid, Andrew Guan, now for a 3rd win of the season, becomes the only driver this season to get 3 race victories and throws his hat into the championship fight as well. He takes victory in round 11 of DTM 2025. And there you go. We are dead level on points, 145 each for Jack Aitken and Jordan Pepper. Jack's got 1 more race win. That's why he's classified as the championship leader on Saturday night. Lucas Auer just 2 points behind them on 143. Hope you enjoyed that one from Brian and me, Chris. It's back down to Verena.
What an exciting wet race here at the Sachsenring. It was very surprising, it was exciting, and now of course we're looking forward to a great race tomorrow as well. You do not want to miss it, so see you then. Here are the highlights. Bye-bye until tomorrow.